everyone. Welcome again to our Quarantine Studio Visit series. I'm Davana, Robedee, the Program Director of the Schweinfurth Arts Center. I'm joined today by Chawne Kimber. Chawne is a quilt artist who lives in Easton, Pennsylvania. I certainly see in your body of work quilts that can be seen as like comforting and like the sort of blanketness of a quilt, but what we know your work for is the use of text and language, and you even have like a not safe for work body of work where you use really strong language and really challenging the viewer and trying to evoke a reaction. Can you talk a little bit about how you balance those two bodies of work, and how did you transition from one to the other?
When I first started out making quilts, I was making mainly Civil War reproductions, and I really had trouble at some point after a couple of years. I saw the futility in what we do, right? We take large pieces of fabric, cut them up, and sew them back together in tiny pieces. And I needed to find meaning in the quilts that I made. And so I started exploring sort of issues of identity and difference, and started, sort of putting labels on quilts. And so I have a quilt that's called Princess, and it's the word princess in a pink background with little tiny flowers. And the intention is to sort of ask the question, how do quilts communicate your identity? But the reaction that I got online to the kinds of language that I was using, and even any sort of intention of talking about other subjects other than babies and Jesus on a quilt was found to be offensive. And I couldn't understand why. I also couldn't understand why anyone would try to tell me what I was allowed to talk about. And so that then opened up me to thinking about the power that the words could have on the quilts, and that they really did affect people. I'm also not against making spiteful quilts that will also entice people into thinking about an issue a little differently.
And can you describe any particular quilts? I know you sent me a lot of images that you want to bring up, and things that are close to your heart, certain messages you're trying to address in any particular piece?
Sure. I have a set of quilts that were sort of motivated by issues related to Black Lives Matter. And they're a bit relevant to the week that we are dwelling in right now. And so there's, so I started with Trayvon Martin, trying to find a way to commemorate his death. And his death was very much associated with the hoodie that he was wearing at the time when he was murdered. And a lot of people came out saying, well, if he wasn't wearing the hoodie, it would have been just fine. He would have not seemed to be dangerous in any way or suspicious. And so I knew that was the politics of fashion that were sort of tied up in that was what I wanted to pursue. And so I made two-tone sort of street art self-portraits of myself in a hoodie. One looks super duper scary, which I didn't know I was capable of. And then others look very contemplative, sort of like a nun in a habit. And it really is just sort of questioning your perspective on a person and what you choose to see when you look at someone. My people keep getting killed by the police, and so each one brings up a different response. So when Eric Garner was killed in a chokehold in Staten Island, in broad daylight on a street corner for the alleged crime of buying a pack of cigarettes, opening them up and selling them one by one, which, by the way, is not a capital crime. His dying words were, "I can't breathe," and he said them over and over again, that you could see in the viral video. And I unfortunately had to watch this video twice to count the number of times that he said it. He said it 9 times in the video that I saw, and I wanted to explore just a sensation of what it was like to make those words as a way to simulate the drawn out process of dying so slowly by suffocation.